Hi, I'm Randy Hollenbeck, and this is the Music Roundtable. Today on the show, we have Daemien Drake from rock band REDDSTAR.
Woo! What's up?
I just want to get into some of your background, how you got into music, what age.
It's funny because before I looked the way I do now, I actually used to be really into rap music a lot. And I started writing like songs when I was in middle school. So like maybe like 12, 13. And I was just in love with it. And I always liked like rock music and stuff, but it was like that's what got me in, and then I didn't play in my first band until I was 19, and then that's when I started looking a little bit more rock band guy-ish. So, because I wanted to fit in more. So, yeah, that's basically how it got going.
Who would you say is some of your influences as far as music?
As far as like bands go, like Linkin Park's like 1000%. Like, I mean, sounds pretty predictable, but they've always been a go-to for me. And not only did like the lyrics and music get me through a lot of shit, but it's just like, I mean, like I can sit and listen to Hybrid Theory a million times and it just never gets old to me. Like that to me is like one of the greatest albums of all time. And it's just for something like knowing that it came out in 1999 and like just how like ahead of the curve it was from so much other shit. It was just like easily. I mean, it's just one of the many reasons why they're just such like a big influence on me. But I mean, my music variety is just so broad. I listen to so much different shit. It goes from everything from rap and bands to fucking country music. Because I think as a musician, as you get further along, you kind of learn to appreciate more.
How did the band form?
The funny thing is that the way this band came together, no, nobody wants to hear about fucking pandemics and stuff. But oh, am I allowed to curse? I don't want to like dropping f bombs and stuff. All right. Yeah, but like I know nobody wants to hear about it, but it's funny because basically, like in the height of it, we were told, or not we were told, but like I was reached out by our drummer Russ because everybody was in different bands doing other shit, but because of the pandemic, we were just like that he reached out to me, was like, "Hey, like we're doing this side project and was curious if you'd be interested." So I did that, and basically they sent me some demos. I sent them demos back that I thought were garbage, and they ended up liking it. So the first time we actually all met in person was when we went to Indiana to record music for the first time. But other than that, it was all just like Zoom calls and text and phone calls and stuff. So it's been pretty interesting because this is the first time I ever like been in a band where everybody lives all over the place. Because like we're an LA based band, but two of the guys live in LA. I live in New Jersey, and our drummer lives in Florida. So it's like really weird how like it works because I used to think you had to be like big for that to work, but technology says otherwise. So yeah, it's just been steady moving since then.
Okay, so basically you guys sent demos to each other and then you all went into the studio afterwards and recorded it?
So I actually was just at their show. The band Raw, the vocalist Sahaj, he's actually our producer, and I can easily say he's like our fifth Beatle because he really took what sounded like store brand Linkin Park and made it into very, very at least like different in a way. Like we have like a sound, like it, like he definitely played a huge part in that, and creating this thing that has become what the band is today. And I'll always like hold him to that. So yeah, it's from there. It was just working with him, and it's been fucking awesome. We still have a bunch of other songs that aren't out yet, but which including I don't know when this airs, but tomorrow, which is the 12th of November, we drop our next single that's called Can't Get Enough. And that's actually pretty different from a lot of the other songs we put out. So stoked on that. But yeah, that's pretty much how it went.
I was going to ask you what you did during the year of the lockdown, and you just basically told me you guys connected. So they just reached out to you and said, "Hey, we're going to do this. We're going to use this guy," and that's how it happened.
Yeah, so like I didn't give like a lot of insight. Like I was like the last piece to the puzzle. Like, they were all together already, and like had an idea. They just they needed a vocalist. And I know Russ, our drummer, because at the time I was in another band and we were under the same management company. And right when we like announced that we were under that company, Russ reached out to me and was just like, "Hey, like, cool, like, checked out your guys' stuff. You're dope, whatever." And then we just like would talk here and there. So that's kind of like how the introductory was, because Russ, Mikey, our guitar player, and Eric, our bass player, they've all like known each other from like playing in like the LA world, and they've got a lot more experience than I do. I'm the fucking baby of the band. So they all knew each other, and like I said, I was just the last piece. So it was me just kind of meeting all them. But yeah, the band it's just basically we were just fucking grinding away, like essentially me and Russ left our other bands to focus on this one because we just felt like this one had more promise and we liked doing this one better. So it's it was definitely a busy quarantine. I fucking flew during the pandemic more times than I did like most of my life. So, and now that's like the new regular. Now I have a fucking miles card. So I might as well just try and fly for free now, you know?
You guys had a tour with Raw and Awake at Last. How was that being on tour with those guys?
So again, I said to them because they just played in Jersey for like their second leg. I said I like it's like Saj was like thanking me and stuff for coming out, and I told him I was like, honestly, man, like if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have played any shows in 2021 because realistically, because like the way the industry is right now, it's like a lot of booking agents are just trying to get their bands who haven't been on the road the past year, getting them their runs that they're basically owed. So for us, it was like slim pickings to figure anything out. And the fact that we were like a brand new band with no touring experience, and Sahaj was just like, "Hey, you guys want to come play this run?" We're like, "Okay, yeah." Never played a show prior to that run. That was our first shows ever, and it was man, I fucking missed it, man. That's like always been my thing, was performing, and I loved it so much, especially because we had really good turnouts for a lot of the shows. And then the funny thing is we played two Wisconsin dates, and it was just cool because people who saw us at the first Wisconsin date came back to the second show with Red Star merch on, like, "Yo, like you guys were dope." So we had to come to this show too, and that was fucking really cool to see.
After the lockdown was over and you guys did play some shows, did you notice like the crowd was like more engaged since live music was gone for like a year?
I think it's a mix. I think it's a mix of, yeah, people are happy that things are going back to normal, but but there's still a lot of punishers and a lot of, a lot of people who that they're kind of just, you can tell they're like, these people who just sit like this at the concert, but I mean, at the end of the day, like I like it. I take it as a challenge. If I'm not expecting to go into a room and everybody be like, "Oh my god," So I like going in, and if there's people like that, I still try to give 110%, because especially if I could win those people over who went into it like, "Fuck this band," because I don't know them and I don't like this stuff, and win them over like, "Hey, not whether they're normally not into that type of music or what, like if I can win them over with the energy, I feel like that I'm doing my job, because getting someone who likes what you do is easy to be engaging. It's the people who are like, I don't give a shit, and getting them engaged is, that's a lot more rewarding to me, because I feel like I had to really work for it.
Do you guys got any shows coming up in the future?
We're basically figuring out next year's schedule, so there's nothing booked as of yet that I can discuss, So, but we're definitely filling out the schedule next year for sure, and we're just trying to mainly stick to releasing new music as constant as possible. So, it we're even though we're only doing a song at a time, we're trying to continuously make sure that we're on like a strict schedule to have a new song out like every X amount of weeks. And then we might end up bundling it together and like putting it together as a project so then people can have something physical. But again, these are all things that are speculation and and everything that we're still trying to figure out. But we're definitely filling the schedule out for next year.
The birds of the prey, now they want to tell me that I always been jaded. But what they really want me to say, I ain't been the type to let myself be degraded. I feel like animals, gotta live with the rage. When it all got so cold, I had to go blazing and watch it all burn. I had to explain it, 'cause they'll never learn.
I wanted to talk about a few of your songs that you released. You released STFU in May, and the music at the beginning kind of sounds like a Rage Against the Machine kind of groove to it. I don't know if you guys put those together and how you create songs or what. Was that like something they like sent you on a demo and you was like, "Oh, I like that groove," and
Essentially, I mean, Mike's a fucking huge Rage fan, so hence his riffs, So I mean, that's a giver, But yeah, I mean, it like, granted, like we went into the studio with, I'm not even kidding, like fucking like 50 songs, and we narrowed it in that first time. We narrowed it down to like four. So that was just one of the ones that just like stuck out. And then again, like, credit to Sahaj, like we basically took like a piece of something and built like a fucking city around it. And and me and him, and like on top of like him writing stuff with Mikey to like help build the song, me and him also worked together on like the chorus and the lyrics and stuff like that. And it was definitely the best one we made out of that bunch. So that's why we just figured, like, out the gate, like that was like the one that we, put out first to make a stamp. And I mean, first song ever we put out, and we got it played on Octane. I mean, that was pretty fucking cool. I've never gotten any kind of Octane love, So granted, we got our asses kicked, but it was still cool to like hear fucking Jose Mangan, being like, "This is Red Star, and we only have one fucking song out." So that was pretty cool.
was that like on Test Drive?
Yeah, it was like their weekly test drive. But that same week, we went up against this band of Void, who's really good, and they're like, they're all over the place, killing it. And then this other band that's really dope too, called Kingdom Collapse. And at one point, their song was actually number one on like the Big Oon countdown. So that song that we had to go up against went number one on Octane. So I'm like, all right, well, that's like to me, if like I only won one game in the football season and it's against the team who fucking won the Super Bowl, like, all right, I can't be too mad because we at least beat the best team in the league that year, So
There's another song you released called Penetrate back in July, and it got this industrial type of beat at the beginning over the when you sing the verse and stuff. Is that something you guys created in the studio for that?
that beginning beat, like, it's funny because it like Russ like also helps like contribute in like throwing his own like instrumentals that he writes, and that beat was it was literally just that intro beat on a loop, and that's all he had. And fucking, it was just like, oh, that's dope. Let's make a song out of that. It was just like a fucking like 10-second loop, and and he really likes a lot of that like industrial like Nine Inch Nails and stuff like that. So it was and honestly, I mean, industry people might say otherwise, but I like unpredictability. I don't like artists who put out the same music constantly or put out the same song, a million times. It's like I think when you could show like diversity like that and you can hit people from other angles, it kind of shows the character in the artist. So that song, I really liked the fact that like it was different from STFU, but it still like hit hard. Like, and it's funny because like countless times like I get told that we have like these like Shine Down esque choruses, and it's like, and I like, it's funny because I don't hate Shine Down, but I don't really listen to them, so it's just like funny to hear like that comparison when it's like somebody I actually don't like really listen to. I have, but I can't say I go out of my way to listen to them. So it's just like, it's just interesting. And then same deal, like, and I like the aspect of like how I do these two different vocal styles and how they normally don't sound like the same person, because I feel like that just shows my own personal range, and especially in that song, it's just very like fucking rock motherfucking chorus to I'm like chilling, fucking just talking to you basically, but I'm rhyming while I'm talking to you.
Your last song that you released was Fuck It All in September. And there's a really cool line in there in that song where you're like, I'm putting you on blast, bitch. Like, how do you come up with like your words when you're writing your lyrics and stuff?
I like a lot of rap music. Like, I mean, again, like that's like I like forever will hold like if anything got me into music, it was that. And when I got into it, like wordplay was like really important. So like you kind of had to like be able to write shit, Like now it's a little different and I still like it. Like I still like new stuff, but now it's not as like wordplay isn't really a thing. It's like it's kind of like more dumbed down and easier. So I don't know, like I just but I still like to incorporate like current words and current sayings and expressions and things that not only that I hear, but like things that like I use like in a sentence, like putting someone on blast is like like basically meaning like, oh, like you're like gonna put them on the spot, like oh like I'm trying to think of like a fucking example, like I don't know, like say like somebody's like I don't know, like a kid's walking in fucking school and like somebody like fucking pantses them or fucking does something to them, and then everybody's like, "Oh my god, look what happened to him!" Like that's like putting somebody on blast, like like or fucking putting somebody on the spot. It's just like it's like or blasting them out. It's just lingo. I guess that's the best way I can explain it.
you were talking about your choruses earlier, and that's what sticks out. You got three in your songs. In all three of your songs, the choruses are memorable and they're good. I think that's why they were telling you about Shine Down, because a lot of their songs, their choruses are really good and memorable.
I mean, hey, I was listening to a podcast with whatever the singer's name, I forget, but he was on Jamie Joss's podcast, and they were talking about like when they went on tour with like Iron Maiden or something in like Europe, and I'm like, well, clearly, I obviously decides that statement, but like clearly they're a successful band, so I'm not gonna. It's not like somebody's comparing us to like some garbage, you know. So I definitely don't take it as any kind of way that's not a compliment, you know. And I definitely, it's just fun. Like I told you before, it's funny that like when and that's been told to me multiple times that name and it's just funny because like again like I've listened to them, but they're not I can't like sit here and name a bunch of songs. You know what I mean? So, but I think that's what we try to do. We try to make people walk away with something that they're gonna know. You know, I feel like that's how you win in this game is you make memorable stuff, including the music. And if I can make a song and someone can walk away singing it or at least having like the melody in their head, like it's like, okay, like I did something right.
Where can we get a hold of you guys at? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
Yeah, everything. We're on everything. We even got TikTok. I'm trying to build my own up first, but you know, we're on everything. Whatever anybody's got, we're there. Whatever streaming platform you use, we're there. So we try to make it as easy as possible for the masses.
That's all the questions I have. Thank you for coming on the show today. Do you have anything else to add?
Check out our new fucking song that again, November 12th, if this isn't going to be out before then or if it's going to be out afterwards, you got to check that song out. Can't get enough. It's dope. We're going to keep putting music out and we got a lot of cool shit that's like being done behind the scenes that I can't wait on top of just putting out more music because we have some songs that if anybody caught us on the road, we played unreleased music, and two of them we already shot a music video for, and the other is fucking really sick. So I can't wait to just. I like being busy, so yeah. Shout out to the fans that we have, and shout out to the new ones who are gonna fucking hop on board.
Bitches get a rush for it, I don't do that much for it. Smoking with that Dutch for it, I ain't even rolling. Even though I'm holding, hating on my old bitch, you know that she boring. Fucking while I'm touring, you are just a pass shit. I ain't even asking, I'm putting you on blast, bitch. Dang,